A young girl named Mallory is driving alone. She is a bride-to-be and is on her way to Denver for her wedding rehearsal. She stops to take a break and looks at her engagement ring, as if she is unsure of her decision. Her sister, Ella, calls to check up on her. She shows Mallory a sexy dress that she is planning to wear on a date. Then Ella tells her that she hasn't bought her plane tickets to attend the wedding yet, because she wants to make sure Mallory is actually in love and happy with her decision. Mallory responds by telling her that she is happy in a fake voice, and hangs up. It seems that Mallory is not really happy with her marriage. She opens a voice message from her fiancé and he apologizes for having to cancel their honeymoon, because a huge deal has come with work. He promises to take her to Hawaii in a few months. Mallory is disappointed and she comes to a halt at a T-junction. She decides to take the scenic route instead of heading to Denver. She plays some music and her mood changes instantly. She drives away happily, eating a mandarin. A few minutes later, her car breaks down. She can't figure out what went wrong. Afterwards, she takes off her engagement ring and puts it in the cubby. She then tries calling a car service but there is no signal. Mallory finds some pornographic leaflets under the car seat that belong to her fiancé. She pops a can of soda and spills the drink on her shirt. While she tries changing her clothes at the back of the car, a man suddenly comes over and startles her. The guy quickly offers to help fix the car. He takes off his shirt and gets right into it, while asking several questions. He gets the car started and Mallory is impressed. He introduces himself as Christian and Mallory thanks him, and leaves. When Mallory drives away, she stops the car feeling guilty, and offers Christian a ride. Along the way, they start talking and share stories about their lives with each other. Christian says that he is headed to a small motel nearby, so Mallory offers to drive him there saying she could use a break. Just then, Christian starts talking about how the two of them were brought together by fate and it was meant to happen like this. What's worse, he makes a nasty comment about his body parts, which is insulting to Mallory. Mallory is disgusted but she keeps her calm and asks Christian to get out of the car. Christian seems hostile so Mallory tries to get out of the car, but he stops her. Suddenly he pulls out a knife and tells her to drive. She starts driving in fear and Christian tells her that he is taking her to an abandoned motel, where the two of them won't be disturbed. Mallory notices that his seatbelt is off and tries to kill him by speeding towards a guardrail near a curve. Christian tries to stop her and the car plunges off the cliff, crashing violently. Mallory wakes up to find the car upside down, with cuts all over her body. She unhooks her seatbelt, but can't get out as her leg is pinned in the seat. She tears her jacket to cover up a big cut on her hand. As Christian slowly wakes up, Mallory sees his knife and grabs it just before he walks over to her. Noticing the trouble she has gotten herself into, Christian tells her that it was good to know each other and leaves her there alone. Mallory desperately screams for help and beeps the horn, but nobody is around in the middle of the isolated ravine. When the night comes, she tries to pull the leg out, but it just worsens the bleeding when she takes effort. As the temperature drops, Mallory starts shivering in the cold. She puts on a hoodie and lays there alone and scared. Suddenly, she hears a noise close by, seemingly from wild animals. She turns on the car's lights to scare them away. To her luck, it works and nothing attacks her. The following morning, ants are crowded up on her bleeding wounds. She drinks some water and spits some of it back into the bottle, realizing it's all that's left. Out of nowhere, Christian shows up again and lets her know that he found a cabin nearby the night before. He confronts her about the reason she drove off the road. He then asks if it was because she was afraid he would rape her. Mallory doesn't answer his questions and only asks for some water and food. Christian then takes some food out and starts eating in front of her. He promises to give her some food as she tells him about the first time she had sex. Desperate for the food, Mallory starts talking of her first time with a guy called Theo. Christian wants to know every detail and Mallory goes along with it. But Christian starts laughing, realizing that Mallory was lying to him. He changes his mind, saying that Mallory is only fantasizing about Theo. He leaves her again without giving her food as promised. Another night arrives, and Mallory writes a note in case she dies and someone finds her like this. She turns on the car heater, but it is not enough to keep her warm. So she lights a fire outside the car and burns some unwanted stuff. She eventually throws her bridal veil to the fire and watches it burn with no regrets. Later that night while she is asleep, some rats come in and slather around her. Horrified, she smashes one of them with the car key. Later, Mallory decides to eat the rat as she has been starving for 2 days. She cuts open the dead rat, taking some slices of meat, and grills it in the fire. Finally, Mallory has some food in her belly. The next morning, Mallory hears her phone ringing outside the car covered in some dirt. Just when she tries to answer it, Christian comes back. He tells her how he is holding a family hostage at the cabin. Mallory hides her phone and the knife, pretending to listen to his story. Suddenly, the phone starts ringing again and Christian fights Mallory to get it. He manages to get the phone and he smashes it into pieces. The psychopath tells Mallory that he is enjoying the show of seeing her trying to escape. He then gives her a handsaw. Mallory says she can't cut the door with it, but he tells her he doesn't mean that. She soon realizes he wants her to cut off her leg, or else she'll die of bleeding. Once again, he bids goodbye, leaving Mallory all alone. Afterwards, Mallory tries to use the saw to enlarge the seat, but the saw breaks off. She tries to cut her leg, but she can't do it. Without any water left to drink, Mallory is forced to urinate into a bottle and drink it to keep her body hydrated. Few moments later, it starts raining and Mallory is relieved. She collects some of the rainwater and drinks it. Just then, Mallory sees a car and screams for help, only to realize that it is Christian who has come back to torment her. Mallory gets an idea and he tricks Christian into believing that she tried cutting off her leg and died due to severe bleeding. Christian enters the car to make sure she's really dead but suddenly realizes it's a trick. Mallory immediately attacks him with a knife and they get into a fight. She ends up stabbing Christian but he survives. Mallory steals his car key and triggers the car's alarm, and throws the key away, which he can't find. He runs back to his car to stop the car alarm, but at that very moment a police car approaches him, and the officer asks Christian if he needs any help. The police officer is willing to give Christian a ride. Just then, Mallory tries her hardest to draw the attention of the policeman with her flashlight and the car horn. The policeman looks around, realizing that someone is in trouble and calling for help. But as the rainstorm gets worse, Christian convinces him to leave soon. The cop reluctantly agrees and leaves with the psychopath. Soon, the rainfall worsens and the valley starts to flood. As the water floods into the car, Mallory starts trying to cut her leg off before drowning inside the car. Just then, the car gets swept away by the water and her leg comes free. She escapes the flooded car and swims over to the land. With her leg badly injured, she walks with the help of a stick. She goes to the cabin where Christian says he was. She hears a woman calling out for help and Mallory decides to help her. She trips near a bear trap, luckily avoiding it. She walks to the cabin and witnesses Christian killing the police officer, and she sees that he has killed the homeowners but is keeping their daughter Katie as a hostage. As Mallory removes the binds off of Katie's hands, she hears Christian coming towards them and hides behind the door. Then she aims a gun that she found and tells him that she will shoot him if he moves. He attacks Mallory as Katie flees. Mallory struggles with Christian before finally pushing him off the balcony. He falls and crushes his leg in the bear trap. She limps downstairs and gives him his knife and tells him that she is going to give him the same chance that he gave her. Finally, Christian succumbs to his wound and dies. Mallory limps down the road with Katie as the front door slams shut. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.